Well, thanks for coming back. So I'm going to do part 2 of this video. I have the Protecti VP2420 here. Before the other video that I did, we had the 64 gig SSD and I was waiting for the 256. I've got the 256 in here now, so I'm going to walk through how to install OPNsense on here, the latest version. Actually, it's not the latest version, but we're going to update it to the latest version on this box. Now, just to give you some background, I was running that box with the old SSD and it ran great. I had like 5 IPsec tunnels running, and I had iPerf running from each location, different iPerf instances on this machine and then on 2 other machines. And this box handled it perfectly. So a couple people messaged me and said, would you recommend and use this in your home lab? And I said yes, because I'm actually going to use this box. I'm actually going to take my Lenovo box out and I'm going to start using this thing because it is very, very, very capable of using it. Now, I hope, wink, wink, that they come out with a 10 gig version, because then I'll upgrade to that version and do some more videos. I think something's coming out here. But anyways, so today I want to show you how to install OPNsense. I've already done that, pre-recorded. I'm just going to put that in the video, and then you guys can skip ahead and stuff like that, and then go from there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect it to my LAN network, or WAN network. We're going to update it, and we're going to install a couple things that I like to do. So first thing I want to do is install dark mode. Put that in there, and then we'll see how adventurous I get from there. But let's switch over to what it looks like to install OPNsense. Now that OPNsense is installed, the box is booted up, and it's working, let's have a look at what we're going to do to set up the wizard and go through that. So, we have our default browser, and it should be set at, let's see here. What's our default IP address on these? I think it's 1.1 or 0.1. So, we go to network. Yep, it's 1.1. So, let's do this. 192.168.1.1. It will push us through to the wizard here. So we'll go yes, accept, root and OPNsense, okay? And then it forces you right through the wizard here. So let's try that. This wizard will guide you through setting up initial configuration. So let's do this. I'm going to change this to that, but I'm going to put jasonslab.ca. DNS, we'll use 9.9.9.1.9, I guess, because 113 will be blocking. And we'll go next. And we're going to change that because we're not in the UK, so we'll go to, where's Vancouver? Right there. We'll go next. We'll keep this, and we're going to change the default IP address of 99.1. Let's try that. Something totally different. Okay? Subnet mask of that, and we'll leave this to... We'll change that, just because I'm going to put it on the internet. We'll go next. Reload. It's not on the internet yet, but I'm going to put it on the internet here in a second. Oh, I know what it's doing. I have to change... It's changed the IP address, and the Mac doesn't know that I've changed it. So we'll just pull the cable out for a second, and then put it back in. If we didn't change the subnet, we could have just walked through this no problem and it wouldn't have had any issues. But we're going to see 99, so 99.1, and there we go, okay? You could pick whatever subnet you want, whatever's going to work. If you want to, probably want to pre-plan that, so that way you don't have any overlap or anything like that. So root, our password, and we're online. As you can see, a whole bunch of things. I'm going to do this because this is one thing that I also do when I first set up these boxes. We go configuration, here, save, and then I don't see that red X in the corner there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to blur out my MAC address. You'll probably see it later in the future, but they change all the time, so whatever. So we're going to go to interfaces, when, and I have to spoof my MAC address because I got 5 of them, and that box is using one that I play around with all the time. So I'm going to change this. We'll wait for it to do its thing. Lobby, dashboard. Okay, WAN's disconnected, but I'm going to plug it in right now and see how we do here. I've already got the cable pre-ready. Okay, wish me luck. This should change, and let's see here. There we go. We're online, ready to go. Let's check that. Fast.com maybe? Fast.com. We're on the internet. We're getting our full download and upload. Right on. So, next thing I want to do is update the box. Now, I always update it before I do any configurations because in my past, I've done a whole bunch of configurations on pfSense and this, and then we put the updated version on top of that, and then things break. So, before I go out and massage this firewall to the way I want it set up, I'll do the updates. So let's try that. Here. And we'll click here for updates. These should come in pretty quick. And I know this is an old version because it says 23.1, and I think we're at 23.5. Don't correct me on that, but that's, I think, what it's at right now. So I do, yeah, see, 23.1.5, that's the latest version. And I don't know why, but every OPNsense box that I've ever installed, you have to push the close button twice. I don't know why. Maybe they'll fix that one day, but it's the same thing that pops up twice. Don't know. Okay, I'm going to push apply. It's going to update. I'm going to take a couple minutes. On the 64 gig version that I did, this took about 2-3 minutes, which was really quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this update, and then we'll come back. Okay? It's updating. Now it's rebooting. Be right back. She's rebooted. Now we'll just wait for it to come back online. We'll hear the music, because it makes music when it reboots and says, I'm ready to go now. Let's back up and wait for it. We hear some music. There we go. Pretty quick to boot. Like, I'm impressed with this box. Now, mine's got the 256 gig model or SSD in there. And the only reason why I put that in there is because I do a lot of logging. NTOP will take up a lot of space if you configure it to do a lot of monitoring and what do I want to say here? I want to say data hoarding, so you can go back and look at all the logs and stuff like that. Log back in. We'll make sure that it's updated. So we got the latest version. There's no updates for us to do. I'm going to change this theme because this is white. And I want to go to System, Firmware, Plugins. And I'm going to target Dark. And Rebellion. I think that's what it says. Yeah, Rebellion is what it's called. So we'll install that. Pretty easy. Done. Okay. We'll go back to System. Oh, that's under System Settings General. And there's Rebellion. And we'll save that. Ah, much better, right? Okay, so Lobby, Dashboard. There's a couple things I'm going to put on here because I want to see stuff when I log into this. So, add widget. We want to see interface statistics, IPsec, but I'm not going to do an IPsec today, but I have mine on the other box, IPsec. Picture, because I'm going to put a picture on there. Thermal sensors and traffic graph. We'll push close. We'll save them, because if you don't save them and move around, I forgot every time. I get this all tweaked and I keep forgetting per save. So let's move this over here. We just drag and drop, right? IPsec, I'm going to put this up here because it's more important. And the traffic graph, I'm going to put right here. So this goes down here. There we go. Okay. Thermal sensors, we can tell that it's not doing anything right now because it hasn't collected data. It might this will collect data in a couple minutes because it does have thermal sensors. So I have a picture of the box, what I have it set up here. I'm going to show you that right here. So my box now has a 250 gig Western Digital N.2 SATA. See right here, it says SATA. So it's got 32 gigs of RAM, and we'll configure that or confirm that because it says 32 right there, and it's using 1% of that. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to install ZenArmor, and it's really, really easy. So let's do that. So we'll go System, Firmware, Plugins, and I type in Sunny, and then it pops up like that. So we push plus. Done. And then I go to plugins, and if you do that, then it shows you all three of the ones that you have to push. So we'll go do this one first. Now, technically, you don't have to get the cloud connector on there, but I do it because then I'm going to add it to my firewall later on. That first stage was done. Go to the next one, and we only have one more left, which is the agent. And I'm going to install that because I'm going to connect it to mine. So we'll push plus to that. Once this is done, we'll walk through the basic setup, and then after that, we'll go through a couple more things and be done. I'm actually really impressed with this box. And I like the fact that these have warranty in Canada now. So when you buy these, they actually pre-configure them when you select them in the list on their website. Test them and burn them in on the bench before they send them to you. So that way there is no problems. You can get it home, install pfSense or OPNsense like me, and it just works. You don't have to have any fusses. Now, I'm going to get this other installed, and then I'm going to go off on my next topic I wanted to talk about. So let's go plugins. We have nothing left to go. We'll go back to lobby. We'll click dashboard so it refreshes. And there's ZenArmor. So let's install that and do that because that takes a couple minutes. So we'll go dashboard. We indicate. Proceed. This takes a couple minutes. Now, my first unit that I had some problems installing Sophos. Sophos XG Home, which is what's running on one of my other firewalls that I really like. This box does not work with that because these only support UEFI bias, where Sophos XG Home wants legacy bias. So that won't work on these boxes. But I have been told, or maybe there's a rumor that I saw that was around, that Sophos XG soon will be supporting UEFI biases, which means that box will run it. And I will test that once I figure that out and when it comes out. Okay, so now we have, it tells us what our CPU is, our CPU score, and the RAM that we have, so we can proceed to the next stage. We'll do local database. This takes a couple minutes to do its thing, so we'll let it do its thing. 32 gigs of RAM is kind of a lot. You don't really need 32. 16 would have been plenty for this, but I wanted a 32 so that I can maximize the RAM in this so I could do more testing and stuff like that. And I'll show you once the ZenArmor is installed here that it doesn't really need 32 gigs. I always overbuild my firewalls. I'm sorry. And it doesn't get hot at all. Right now it's running cold. Got a temperature gauge. So if we click that on there, it's sitting at 31 degrees. And that's been sitting for the last 4 hours on my desk, just sitting there. Not hot at all. So a lot of people say they get hot. No, they don't get hot. They're actually real cool devices. All right, next, we want to add our LAN to the network. We want to leave it in L3 reporting blocking with native Nmap or NetMap driver. And we'll go next. Okay. We'll leave these the same for defaults. Now this is the fun part because on that box over there, ZenArmor ran on this just fine. I mean, I wasn't going to push this to the max because it wasn't really capable of doing too many things. This one I got, it actually came on to the webpage right here, this site or this location of the config, and said we couldn't go past 50 because this is such a small box. But if you look at this one right now, this box, we'll see extra large. not going to select that because I don't have 2,000 devices in this network. But that box determines and says, hey, I can handle 2,000 devices. I'm just going to select it at 100. But it's good to know that that box will handle that. One day I'll be able to test it, but I don't have 2,000 devices. So we'll go next. We'll get rid of the free version, and we'll just click next. And then finish. We'll let it do its thing. I'll go in there and select a couple things, and then it'll be done. Oh, we gotta wait for the service to come up. Now, one thing I have been playing with on my box over there is NTOP, and I really, really like that. I'll do a video on that later on and show you guys how useful that is. So let's click for updates. I don't think there's gonna be updates because it just went out and installed this. Okay, we'll dismiss our little banners up top here. We'll go to policies. We'll edit our policy. We'll turn on a couple of these things. Okay. And then we'll go save. Now it's going to bark at me if I turn on anything on the other side there, so we're not going to turn that on. Web controls, we'll go to moderate, which means it's going to block ads, adult, and advertisements and stuff. We'll save that. And the reason why I want to do this is because I'm going to show you guys how much RAM it actually takes up. So we'll go back to lobby, dashboard, and it takes up 6 gigs of RAM. Now, if you had 8 gigs of RAM, you only have 2, and that's plenty, unless you're really going to work on it hard. I'd want to go 16. My box over there has got 16, and it works great. I think it hovers around the same as this. But it's nice to know that I got a lot more overhead, just in case I wanted to run more servers and stuff on there. Okay? So let's do a speed test with that running and see what it does. Actually, I'm going to bring this over here. I'm going to make it a small box, just so we can see it run. But you can see what the CPU does and all that stuff. Let's try this. So refresh. We'll see our spike right here go up. Our CPU goes up. We got 1 gig. And then we'll go show more. So then we can see our out. Full gigabit through that box with ZenArmor running. I'm pretty happy with that. I really like that. I mean, I don't need to go out and buy a Xeon 24-core with 128 gigs of RAM and all that stuff just to get a nice firewall for the home lab or for anything else. Okay? It's pretty decent. I like that. What else did I want to talk about? I'm going to be teaming up with Dustin from Home Network Guy. He's the one who got me onto one of these boxes. Thank you very much for that. And hopefully you guys from the last video went and subscribed, because his link will be down in again. But we're going to be doing a couple videos on these boxes VPN together. So I think we're going to try WireGuard, OpenVPN, and IPsec. And we're going to do a whole bunch of traffic measuring back and forth to show you guys what these actual boxes are capable of. I know what it's capable of because I had one set up at another location going to pfSense, and we were getting full throughput through it. So it was pretty good. So I'm going to leave the video from there. If you have any questions and comments, let me know. As you guys can tell, my channel is still growing. Thank you for everybody. I'm at 1175 now. And I thank everyone for watching all my videos and commenting and giving me suggestions and stuff like that, what they want to see. So this box, quite capable, and I'm not just saying that because I got the box, but I'm saying that because, honestly, it is actually a really nice box. This will be in my rack over there soon as I am done this video, and I'm going to put it over there to use it. So I'm going to leave the video from there. You guys have a great day. Talk to you later.